Now, your man Lil Wayne was a little different.
Yeah.
You saw the whole Black Lives Matter?
I saw it.
Now, here's what's interesting before we get into this part, is that in August, we had found a clip of Lil Wayne live on stage at a Tidal concert saying Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he basically said, you know, belongings don't matter, Black Lives matter. That's the only thing that matters.
Okay.
Fast forward to November, he's saying, I don't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter.
First he said, what is that?
What is that? He said, my life matters to my bitches. Don't ask me no stupid shit like that. Then he stormed out of the interview.
Mm-hmm. Supposedly because he was mad about a previous question she asked him where, you know, she was saying how he calls women bitches and hoes within his music. And she asked him
about his daughter.
Yeah, would you like your daughter to be called that? And they said that's where it all went left. You know what I mean? But to me, that's a legitimate question.
I think so.
That's a legitimate question. Just like when we talk about shaming, you see, it touches a nerve. Sure, you could call this one a bitch and a hoe, blah, blah, blah. But when it's connected to your loved ones, now it's a problem. You see? So if we were just to look at everyone like our loved one, we would be treating people entirely different ways. It's because you feel a disconnection from
interesting point,
from certain people and things that you're able to say, oh, fuck that bitch, fuck that hoe.
But you my daughter's my princess.
Oh, yeah, but this is don't you ever call her that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, well then, you know what I mean? You have to want for yourself, or you have to want for your brother or sister what you want for yourself.
Right.
You know?
Jeezy was asked about Wayne's comments.
He said he's in his own island or some shit, right?
In his own island. He basically said, listen.
It sounded like that.
Yeah, I mean, he basically said, listen, that's a grown man. I'm not going to speak on his behalf. This is an adult. You know, but honestly, if you just take a step back, this man's been famous since he was a little kid.
Right.
He's disconnected from a lot of stuff. Like, I don't think Wayne is on social media. I don't think Wayne is on the internet. I think Wayne lives in his own world. He's got his handlers around him that provide certain things that he wants.
All right, does Wayne watch the news?
I don't think so.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
I think he watches sports probably.
That's his news. Sports Center and shit like that.
He's up on sports. I know that because he's been on Sports Center and some of the other
I grew up as a kid watching the news every night.
Right.
Like, every night.
Right, because remember, he didn't even say he didn't know the names of some of these rappers, these new rappers. He's like, I don't know who Little Uzi Vert is. I don't know all these guys. Like I interviewed Taxstone, and Taxstone pretty much said, look, he's on drugs.
Man, Lil Wayne been on drugs for so many years, you know. I don't even expect him to understand what's going on in the world.
Mm-hmm. It looked like I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was weird shit. And I'm not no Black Lives Matter supporter. Like,
you're not?
No, absolutely.
Why not?
Because it's not our movement. This is a movement that was given to us by, you know, George Soros and his fucking boys. Because they saw how things were going and they didn't want it to go back to the 60s to where we start having our own organic movements. That was a big fucking problem for them. So let's give the people a movement that we can control. We'll provide them the leaders and all of this type of shit. And yeah, that's what Black Lives Matter is. Look at the leaders of Black Lives Matter.
Are there leaders of Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Who?
Look at these lesbian women who are trying to incorporate, you know, LG, whatever the fuck the letters are, incorporate their concerns into black people's concerns. Go to the website, look it up. Google George Soros and Black Lives Matter, see what comes up.
Let's look it up.
Okay. And you know, y'all out there, George Soros is a fucking multi-billionaire down with, you know, some of the 12
He
richest
raised-
people in the fucking
He raised
world.
$100 million
Yep.
for the Black Lives Matter Coalition. The funding comes in addition to more than $33 million in grants from top Democratic Party donor George Soros. Okay, here we go. Okay, so yeah, so
What billionaire would have done that for the Black Panther Party?
33 million. Well, hold on.
Huh?
Hold on. In high school, I read some books about the Black Panther movement.
Charlton Heston, maybe people like that.
The Black Panther movement would have. There was a famous book called "Radical Chic and Mau Mauing the Flatcatchers,"
Okay.
and it basically puts you in these scenes where you had these, you know, the Huey P. Newtons and the Bobby Seals would go to these rich white families' houses and have these intellectual debates.
I
with
know about
these-
that.
You know what I'm saying? With these white millionaires.
Did anybody give him 30 million at
Well,
that
at
time?
the end, these people would cut checks.
Not no $30 million checks. Maybe a 5,000, 10,000. You see what I'm saying? This was breakfast programs and, you know, a smaller scale.
But you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Rich white people have historically financed some of this stuff.
Some of it, not all of it.
Which is why I said
You know
some
what I
of it.
mean?
Yeah, I
And
didn't
that
say all
was-
of it.
And that was more guilt money rather than
Fair enough.
control money. See, this started at the impetus of the whole shit. This is control money. This is not, oh, I feel bad for what we've done as white people. You came to my house and shamed me, and now I'm going to cut you a check. You know what I mean? That's not what that is about. That's about, let us give you a movement that we can control, use certain symbolism from the original civil rights movement, like the black, you know, red, black, and green, all these different symbols. We're going to incorporate that, but only it's going to be a movement that we control. We decide what the messages are. We decide what the slogans are. You know, what happened to no justice, no peace, and, you know, no peace, no justice. Now it's hands up, don't shoot, fucking I can't breathe, and all these negative affirmations that, you know, who made that shit up? You know what I mean? Wasn't me. You know, and like, we're living in a time of great social engineering. Okay? Now, if y'all don't know what social engineering is, go look it up. Like, there's people out there that know how to scientifically make society do what they want it to do, how they want it to be done. They're engineering how society should be. That's social engineering. So when we sit here and talk about, you know, things like false evolution, you know, when we say, oh, hip hop's just going that way. No, it's not. It was socially engineered to go in the way that it's going right now. You see, this Black Lives Matter is a social engineering of how a civil rights movement should move. You see what I'm saying? And this is what we have to look at. Not everything is organic.
Well, you also don't see any clear leaders in Black Lives Matter. You had D. Ray. He's been kind of the face of Black Lives Matter for a while.
Why, when he's not the leader? You see what I'm
That's what I'm
saying?
saying, there's no real
Why
leader.
is he? There is leaders. This is what I'm telling you. They're lesbians. They're black lesbians.
Key people are Sean King.
Who's that?
He's a writer for New York Daily News.
I'm not talking about who key people. Go to the fucking website. Who runs the shit?
Is there a website?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I mean, because when I looked at Black Lives BLM leader, the key people there's no leader that's listed, but the key people that are listed is Sean King, DeRay McKeeson, and Jonetta Elzie.
Those people don't run Black Lives Matter. Although they might be the face right now, they're not the ones calling the shots.
But even if they're the face, somewhat, they don't hold even remotely the significance of a Martin Luther King, a Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad.
Because those were real movements. Those were real movements
Huey
starting from real
Huey
love.
P. Newton.
Yeah.
Right.
Those were real movements. You know?
Like MLK.
Marcus Garvey. Come on, Marcus Garvey is the foundation of all of this in America.
Marcus Garvey was Jamaican, right?
Yes, but he came here in America, started the Unia Improvement, Association, and got on his back to Africa shit and Black Star Line and bought ships and all of that type of shit.
Right.
Got his money from black people. He didn't go to the white people and all of that.
You guys had a song called Black Star Line.
Exactly.
That was
based on
right.
that.
There we go.
You know what I mean? So yeah, and all those people came, from out of that movement. Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, He was the precursor to all of that. He was the one to do for self. And they, the government went against them.
Right. I mean, before then you got Frederick Douglass.
Yeah, but he wasn't like a Marcus Garvey. You understand what I'm saying? Like Marcus Garvey was some whole other shit.
So that to you was the ultimate black leader.
Pretty much, yeah. Because he exemplified, well, especially for here in the wilderness of North America. You know what I mean? Like, without his message at the time that he brought it, and it was super radical, and then the pride that he brought to black people, I mean, they had a parade in Harlem. And this man had on like military dress type of shit. Like, you know what I mean? And just, you never seen nothing like that before.